Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Let's start our video with the tale of career growth, some sweet payback, and the ultimate twist of karma. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. I'll keep my fingers crossed for you. About a decade ago, I was hired for a pretty unique job in my field of study, and I was so excited to start. I'm flown down to train for a week with my new manager who had interviewed me, and I thought seemed nice enough at the time. I was very wrong. I'll keep the description simple. This manager was literally the worst. I quickly discovered she was a micromanaging southern mean girl, definitely that kid in kindergarten that would yell, "Teacher, Billy's chewing on his pencil eraser again," kind of energy. Nothing I did was right. She called my office multiple times per day to check in. If I answered the phone, I was asked why I wasn't out doing my job. If she left a message because I was out, I was asked why I didn't answer the phone. During one of our annual team meetings, she meant to text another manager something nitpicky about me, and the message went to me instead. She literally just said, "Oops," when I asked what I just received. That kind of crap wears on a person. 3 years to the day I was first hired, I was laid off with half the team. It sucked, but I found a new job where my skills were unique and celebrated. My new manager is supportive, hands-off, and reasonable. I've been promoted almost every year, just had my 6-year anniversary, and now I'm part of the management team for our program. No one else in the company does what I do. The bad memories from my last manager experience faded away. I was happy. So I'm working away one afternoon right before Christmas and get a message alert from LinkedIn. It's her. It's the worst manager. Worst manager. "Hey, I just had an interview with one of my programs and they mentioned knowing someone else that worked for last company. Mid-interview, I couldn't quite think, but as I was sitting here eating lunch, I was like, OP. I hope you're doing well and just wanted to let you know it made me smile. She mentioned you had provided some stories about last company and I couldn't help but laugh because there were so many. Anyway, have a great holiday and hopefully we'll be working together again soon." Oh, no. F no. I reply to her, "Ha, seems like a lifetime ago. I'll keep my fingers crossed for you." I immediately IM'd the interviewing team and asked if they had just interviewed this person. They had. They loved her. They were in the process of drafting an offer. All I typed was, "If you hire her, I quit." The lead interviewer started a conference call. At some point, we had all shared horror stories of bad managers. I asked them if they remembered mine, and they did. I explained that my story was about the person they just interviewed. Lead interviewer: "The last thing we need for this team is someone like that. I'll tell HR to stop her offer, and I'll wait until after the holidays to let WM know our decision." It wasn't really a tough decision after all, a very strong candidate pool. Literally let WM twist in the wind for 2 weeks for me. Did I mention I love my management team here? Not all managers go to bat for their people, and even fewer join in on petty revenge. I can never quit now. We did fill the position, by the way, with another person from my previous company that I advocated strongly for. I hope WM knows. Fingers crossed, by which I mean I will use my fingers to make the sign of the cross until you flap away from my window, hissing into the night. And our second story. Homeless man tries to rob my house. I used to live on a popular intersection near downtown in a medium-sized city. My apartment was the upstairs of an older house and had 2 doors, the one downstairs from off the street, my front door, and then the actual door into my living space at the top of the stairs. It's important, I promise. The first time I met the homeless man, he came to the front door and asked my ex and I for money as he was living on the streets and he was trying to get a hotel for the night in the area. Spun us a tale of how he was attempting to get back on his feet and how he'd been sorely mistreated. We fell for it hard and gave the guy a 20. Big mistake. A few days later, he comes back and I'm home alone. HM: "Hey man, I'm in the area again for the day and need some cash for a place to stay." Me, extremely underwhelmed with the fact that this guy is back at my front door, but still feeling bad for the guy. All right, well, I'll run back upstairs and see what I've got. I went upstairs and scrounged around in the couch cushions, grabbed quarters off my dresser and a couple of bucks off the nightstand. Maybe had $4 to $5. Me. Okay, so I was able to find some change around the house. I hope you get someplace warm tonight and get back on your feet. HM. You're kidding me. You went up there for 5 minutes and you came back down with chump change? I know you aren't trying to waste my time with this crap. Your boyfriend gave me a 20 the last 2 times I was here, and that's what I'll be leaving with here today. I know you can afford it, living here like you do. Apparently, in between the first time he was here and this experience I was having, he'd made a second visit to our home to ask for money, and my ex had given him another $20. Me. Well, I'm sorry you feel that way, but that's what I have. Now, please leave or I'll call the police. HM. I'll come back when he's home and talk to him then. Me. Please don't. I explained to XSO that I do not want him giving this guy any more money, as it really freaks me out that this guy was thinking our front door was going to be an ATM for him. He thankfully understood, and we thought it would be the last of it. A couple days later, I had some friends over, and from the window, I saw HM walking down the sidewalk. Great. Here we go again. He starts knocking on my front door. We had a short discussion about it and decided to ignore him and just pretend we weren't home. He starts to pound on my door. I'm thinking, what the F? We're sitting in the living room, very quiet, and we hear him open the door. He must have slid a credit card through or something. I heard him coming up the stairs and I panicked. I screamed the first thing that came to my mind. If you come in this house, I'll shoot you first and call the police after. I don't give a F. He fled back down the stairs, yelling about it being a misunderstanding. I called the police and described him. This man is a convicted felon who's just recently been released. They showed me photos of him. His MO was he would come to your house, ask for money a few times, and learn your schedule. He'd break in and steal your stuff once he thought you were gone. Man, both you and your ex made huge mistakes giving him money the first, second, and third times. And our last story. Entitled people come to our apartment after hours to use the pool and keep us awake. People from all over town had figured out that our apartment complex's pool and hot tub weren't being locked at night, turning it into an unofficial public pool. Every night there were random groups of people who didn't even live in the complex showing up. More people meant more noise, and the late night crowd was keeping us up. We made complaints to both the landlord and the police. The police did get involved, and it seemed like they contacted the landlord because shortly after we noticed an employee showing up at 10 p.m. every night to kick people out of the pool. The pool hours officially ended at that time, so it was at least a small improvement. But here's the kicker. While they would kick out the rowdy crowd at 10 p.m., they wouldn't lock the gates. So people who didn't live there or anyone who just wanted to be rebellious would either come back or new groups would show up after the employee left for the night. It was starting to feel like a frat house every single night, with people partying until the early hours, blasting music and making a ridiculous amount of noise. We tried asking people to keep it down or leave ourselves, but the response was rarely friendly. Some of them would get in our faces, especially the ones who didn't even live in the complex. It was starting to get stressful, and we didn't feel like we should be the ones dealing with it. After multiple complaints, I decided to visit the front office to get a straight answer about why the gate was never locked. The woman there told me that they'd finally started locking the gates this week. Great, right? Well, not really. The past 2 nights, even with the gates supposedly locked, people were still getting in. They either jumped the gate or managed to force it open, but somehow they were still in there after hours. We've had to go down and yell at people through the gate, telling them to leave. But last night, someone else must have called the police shortly after we tried talking to the late-night trespassers. The cops showed up and kicked them out again, which gave us a little relief, but it's clear the gate isn't much of a deterrent. At this point, we've made the decision to call the cops every single time it happens. If it becomes frequent enough, we're hoping the police will pressure the apartment complex into taking real preventative measures. Update. So things had been going well for a while after the new gate and alarm system were installed. The peace was nice while it lasted, but of course some Karen had to make an appearance to spice things up. It was a little after 10 p.m. on a Friday, and I heard the familiar sound of the gate alarm going off. I glanced out the window, and sure enough, there she was, a woman in her mid-40s, decked out in a floral cover-up, drink in hand, leading a group of teenagers into the pool area. Clearly, she thought the rules didn't apply to her. Sighing, I grabbed my phone and headed downstairs. By the time I got to the gate, she was lounging by the pool, ignoring the alarm like it was background noise. Me. Excuse me, the pool's closed, and that alarm's going to keep going off until you leave. Karen, with an eye roll, oh, relax, it's just me and my kids, we're not hurting anyone. You're really going to complain about a little pool time? Me. Yeah, actually, there's a reason the pool closes at 10. People live here, and we don't need the noise. Plus, the alarm is going to keep going, and the cops are automatically notified now. Karen, getting up, hands on her hips, I pay rent just like you. Who do you think you are telling me when I can and can't use the pool? My kids deserve to have some fun. Me. I'm telling you because it's the rules. The gate locks at 10, and unless you want to have a lovely conversation with the police, I suggest you leave now. At this point, the teenagers were starting to look uncomfortable. One of them nudged Karen and said, Mom, let's just go. The alarm's annoying, and we don't want any trouble. Karen, still fuming, ignoring her kid, this is ridiculous. You millennials think you can just boss people around. We're not going anywhere until we're ready. Me, calmly, okay then, suit yourself. I pulled out my phone as I started dialing the non-emergency number for the cops. The rest of her group began gathering their stuff. Teenager, Mom, seriously, let's go. I don't want to deal with the police. Karen finally caved, muttering under her breath the whole time as she and her crew stormed out of the pool area. As they passed me, she gave one last parting shot. Karen, you're such a buzzkill. No wonder no one likes people like you. Me, with a smile, and yet here we are, with me enjoying a quiet evening and you getting kicked out of the pool. Have a nice night. She shot me a death glare before walking away, but honestly, it was worth it. The police never even had to show up. Seeing that shed get torn down felt like sweet, sweet victory. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.